organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up on Daily Iowan TV, a new state bill that could affect red light cameras across Iowa. The details and how it could affect Iowa city law coming up.
And see how buying even just a candy bar with your debit card could put cash in a local school's pocket.
And in sports, style is important to a lot of people, even athletes. Find out what one volleyball player did to deck out her dorm room.
All that and more is coming your way next.
Daily Iowan TV starts now.
From Studio 151, your television news, sports, and weather source for the Daily Iowan, this is Daily Iowan TV.
Thanks for tuning in to your Thursday edition of Daily Iowan TV. I'm Lauren Moss.
And I'm Jake Abrams. Today, an Iowa legislative subcommittee approved a bill that would ban the use of red light cameras. Red light cameras record vehicles that run lights and send tickets through mail. Now, on Tuesday, in a 4-3 vote, Iowa City Council voted for the second time in favor of the cameras. Now, if the bill passes in the Iowa House, all cities currently using red light cameras will have to take them down by July 1st of this year.
Students just went through the buying period when it comes to textbooks, but there's a new way to buy books without even leaving your house. Several school textbooks are combining with forms of technology, and Apple wants the iPad to be the go-to device for students. Daily Iowan TV Jessica Wank explains.
Apple's iPad has taken over the market as one of the most popular computer tablets, and with their recent educational improvements, they hope the iPad will be taking over the classrooms too. These new improvements will give iPad owners new educational experiences. With the new software program iTunes U, it allows for students to plan their curriculums and communicate with other students over the iPad. It will allow for anyone at any time to take courses for free. And the new textbook store iBooks 2 will feature digital ebooks. Students can also specify between universities, colleges, or K-12 books. The University of Iowa is amongst the list where students can check out what is available online.
What we want to have is the ability for our students to go out and conduct problem-solving inquiry strategies with technologies that are already in their pockets. Our surveys of our students show that 80% of them already have these kinds of devices.
Educational major Marissa Dirks is one of these students who utilizes the iPad in her own education now. She also plans on using it in her future teaching methods.
I've seen it actually in a lot of classrooms. They're starting to integrate more iPads into the classroom.
And starting next fall, educational majors will be expected to use this technology in the classroom.
We want something that is mobile. Students will be able to take these mobile devices to their field experiences or to our classrooms. Also, we want students to have a digital video camera built in, because our new assessment will have us have students record their teaching so that they can be assessed by our faculty.
There's definitely going to have to be limits. You know, students will probably try to get onto the internet and play games, but if you monitor and control it, I think it would be a great, useful source.
Jessica Wank, Daily Iowan TV.
And while Apple is promoting schools to use their products, a New York Times report says that not everything is going positively for the company. According to the report, Apple has known about abusive work environments in many of its China-based manufacturing plants for years. Now, explosions and worker injuries are common, according to the report, and Apple has allegedly turned a blind eye to the situation. The New York Times article also says that Apple executives have responded and they are working on improving worker conditions.
It isn't rare for local businesses to give back to their community, but one bank has started a unique program to impact Iowa City schools in a truly powerful way. Daily Iowan TV's Nick Rector explains how one debit card can change a school.
Hills Bank's Classroom Cash program has created a way for their cardholders to give back to a local school of their choice. Once a cardholder chooses a certain school to support, every $100 they spend on their card results in 10 cents going to that school.
I think it's great because I was looking at all the different school districts that have benefited, and a lot of schools have gotten in dollars that they wouldn't normally have coming in.
The program began just 26 days ago, yet the local schools have already seen a large sum of cash come back their way. Iowa City Community Schools have already earned about $205,000, and Regina Catholic Schools have raked in about $17,000 as well. Money from the Classroom Cash program is added up quickly, but as you can imagine, some schools need the money more than others.
For Catholic schools, it's really an added bonus because unlike maybe public schools where there might be more dollars flowing in, we are dependent on those fixed incomes. So for us, this is just a huge gift for us.
Regina Catholic Schools plan on spending the money from the program on some much-needed technology upgrades.
For this, it's kind of like a no-brainer because my husband, he has a debit card, and so you just mark that what school you want it to go to. And if you're already using a debit card from Hills, it just makes sense that you would, designate a school that it could go to.
If you're a Hills Bank cardholder and haven't chosen a school to give back to, please contact your bank, because after all, it is free cash. Nick Rector, Daily Iowan TV.
If you're a member of Hills Bank here in Iowa City and you are not signed up for the Cash for Classrooms program, it's free and easy, and those interested can register online.
But still much more to come on Daily Iowan TV. It's something we do every day, but many students just aren't getting enough of it. Daily Iowan TV health reporter Muriel Kune will let us know the dangers of one bad habits that many students are victims of.
And in sports, men's gymnastics is on a downhill slope. Find out what the Iowa men's team is doing to help reverse this issue.
But first, Daily Iowan TV's Tasha Woods joins us for a look at our weekend weather.
Yeah, tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon we'll see temperatures around 28 degrees, and then tomorrow afternoon there's chances of a slight snow shower, and then it'll roll in tomorrow night. And we're looking at an increase in cloud coverage and breezy conditions with another chance of a light snow before midnight. But Jake and Lauren, Saturday is a real key here today because the sun will finally peek through with a high near 33, similar to what we saw this afternoon. I'll be back in just a few minutes with a look at the extended forecast. Guys?
All right, thanks, Tasha. We'll see you soon. But first, let's toss into Daily Iowan TV's Chelsea Byrne for a look at Hawkeye sports.
Being a freshman and living in the dorms can be quite the change for some people. But volleyball player Erin Lepick adapted to the adjustment by switching up the furniture in her dorm room.
From the volleyball court to the books, Erin Lepick seems to have it all. The freshman was a top scholar in her high school, ranking in the top 15 of her class. So when Erin came to training camp at Iowa for the first time, she put her brain to use not only in the court, but off the court as well.
I knew that the rooms were pretty small from the previous year, and I knew I had a lot of stuff to fit in there. So we went down and saw the room below us and measured out. I took a tape measure to camp and we measured the entire room and all the furniture and wrote it down. And then when I got home, I took out some graph paper and just made a little model of the room, where the sink was, where the closets were, how big they were, and cut out pieces of paper that fit the same size as the bed and the dresser.
And with the size of dorm rooms these days, who wouldn't want to create the biggest room possible? Erin's roommate, Holly Hoffman, sure wasn't opposed to it.
The smart thing to do, and I really liked that because then when I came here I didn't have to worry about trying to move everything around because it was already set for the best space.
With such a big commitment to volleyball, some may wonder how Erin had the time to do all this. Well, not only having hopes of becoming a biomedical engineer, but growing up with a dad who's an engineer as well surely helps. At a young age, Erin built a bank of knowledge in this field.
He redid our rooms when we were younger. That's what he did. He told us to move our furniture around however we wanted it.
Being a college athlete and an honor student is quite the task, but Erin has it down to a system to help her be successful in both school and volleyball. She spends her Sundays at the Learning Center, where she tries to get as far ahead in her homework for the week as possible. And on long bus rides, she not only does her own homework, but she also helps her teammates with any questions they have on theirs. Kate Constable, Daily Iowan TV Sports.
Thanks, Kate. And in the last 20 years, men's gymnastics has lost huge numbers in programs. Daily Iowan's Annie Constable headed to the fieldhouse to talk to head coach J.D. Reeve about the issues the sport is facing.
Men's gymnastics, not the typical sport you think of when talking college athletics. Head coach at Iowa, J.D. Reeve, thinks there's no reason the Olympic hype can't be brought to the NCAA.
Every 4 years, we're the most popular sport in the Olympics, right? Yeah. It's great. Problem is, a year after that, we forget. So we're all getting amped up because it's coming up to 2012, and how do we take that? How do we maintain that? How do we bring that into an NCAA environment?
With only 17 programs left in the country, the opportunity for male gymnasts is declining. Most young gymnasts are motivated by the possibility of college scholarships, an opportunity to get an education. But with the decline of college programs, there comes a decline of interest in the sport.
Unfortunately, the complicated nature of the sport and the demand, it's all sort of kind of colliding with each other. You know, the amount of time, the cost and everything, it's hard.
Since 1981, over 60 schools have dropped men's gymnastics. Making some question, is Title IX to blame?
It affects us in terms of scholarship allocation, roster size. You know, there's some things that it holds us back with. I don't blame Title IX for any of it. Typically, it's financial issues that are our big effect, but I'm kind of indifferent to it at this point.
In 1969, there were 234 men's gymnastics programs. By 1996, that number shrank to just 32. Today, there are only 17 programs left in the NCAA, bringing up the question exactly how much longer will men's gymnastics be around?
I think we've got, at least another decade or so where things should be okay. We went through, California almost dropped last year. That was a big one. We got through that. The community outpoured. USA Gymnastics came forward. They helped them stay. So that put us on some solid ground for a while.
Despite the uncertainty of the sport, the UI men's gymnastics team is focused on this year. 14th in the nation and 7th in the Big Ten, the team is set on moving up in the rankings. Annie Costabile, Daily Iowan TV Sports.
The team heads to Chicago this weekend where they will face off with the University of Illinois Chicago for the second time this year. Well, that's all I have for sports tonight, but before I throw it back to you, Jake and Lauren, let's take one quick look at what's going on in Iowa City this weekend because Carver Hawkeye is going to be booked solid. Besides the men's basketball game that happened earlier on Thursday, there is a women's game on Saturday at 2, and they will host the Boilermakers. Then on Sunday, the Iowa wrestling team is in much need of some redemption after a tough last 2 dual meets. They will host the Minnesota Golden Gophers at 3 p.m. on Sunday in Carver. You can catch all those highlights from these conference matchups Sunday night right here on DITV. Jake and Lauren, it's all you.
Thanks, Chelsea. Now, between school and social activities, most college students don't have time for one important part of their day, sleep. Daily Iowan's TV Miro Kune explains the importance of what many students don't get enough of.
And while a typical day for students consists of classes, meetings, and studying, it is usually hard to squeeze in a regular eating schedule, some physical activity, and most importantly, sleep.
I get about 8 hours of sleep per night.
I try and go to sleep at about 10, but I have problems sleeping, so I'd say on average maybe 6 to 8.
While these two ladies are an exception, habits such as sleep deprivation has significant risk factors for a college student. According to the Center for Disease Control, insufficient sleep is associated with a number of chronic diseases and conditions such as diabetes, cardiovascular disease, obesity, and depression. With some getting maybe 4 to 5 hours of sleep a night, one student tells me how she stays on top of her sleep schedule.
I usually start my homework early and try and get it done as soon as possible so that I don't have to leave it to the last minute, and same with studying, so that way when I space it out, it doesn't end up being a lot the night before.
Although it is important to excel in your classes, be sure to also make time for sleep. This is Muriel Kone, Daily Iowan TV.
Let's take a look at some other stories around the country. After 8 months in Afghanistan, a father came home and gave his little girl a big surprise. Captain Eric Perkins only saw his daughter through pictures and the occasional Skype conversation. This might choke you up a little bit. It's pretty emotional. Take a look.
You can't make me cry. I gotta look like I'm tough.
You're crying.
Uh-huh.
I see your tears.
Where?
And yesterday, President Obama was right around the corner in Cedar Rapids. After his speech, he flew to Phoenix where he was greeted by Arizona Governor Jan Brewer. But what is usually a nice welcome turned a bit tense as the two argued over the governor's book regarding immigration policies. Now, Governor Brewer claims that she was trying to welcome him and that the president brought up the issues that he had with her writing.
And Lauren, this is an extremely good example of how any publicity is good publicity. The governor's book, Scorpions for Breakfast, it actually went from 2066, 724th on the Amazon list, all the way up to 126th overnight. Pretty cool stat there. But now Tasha Woods is back with a look at your local weather forecast. Tasha?
Well, Jake, Friday gets cooler, but Saturday will be a bit like today. Looking into next week, when you can expect to see an increase in temperatures as Monday and Tuesday peak into the low 40s, but may see some rain. We're not seeing those warm temperatures just yet, guys, but we're making progress to those levels. Just have some patience. Back to you guys.
All right, and did you see this? Several passengers on an Air Canada flight were clawed to the ground, literally. This little cat here found a way to escape from his crate, then he dashed through the entire plane. Passengers said that nobody could catch him. Then the sneaky little tiger found a way to enter the cockpit, which forced the pilot to land the plane. And only with Daily Iowan TV could you get a sneak peek at Friday's pages of the Daily Iowan.
Tomorrow, you can read about how much money the university makes on student class withdrawal fees. Plus, learn about a new grant that will allow a shuttle to pick up and transport patients to the UI hospitals.
Well, that's your latest edition of Daily Iowan TV. Be sure to check us out at the same time on Sunday or anytime online at dailyiowan.com.
For Daily Iowan TV, thanks again for watching and have a great night.